Hi, I'm Mika Trimman, and welcome to my YouTube channel as well as Frankincense School of Mystical Arts. So, have you ever wondered why you end up with these relationships where you just get all these little breadcrumbs? Day in, day out, just crumbs. And it can be friends, it can be coworkers, it can be love interest, it can even be family. But have you ever noticed where sometimes you'll be in a great mood, you'll be super happy, and you go and approach them and you are, how are you? How are things going? Good. And then they just kind of snub you. And you're thinking, that is so, what was that? And then you'll go about your day, and then they'll say one or two words to you, and then you'll respond. But you end up with these relationships where you just get just enough to keep you just kind of strung along. And it's the breadcrumb. It's like kind of like the breadcrumb effect. And it can be in all relationships. But sometimes and often it's really super interesting when you end up in a relationship like this, because you are thinking everything is good, but yet the other person only just gives these little responses. Even if you are asking them a question, it's really short, it's really simple, but it's really interesting the reason why. And the reason why is because if they give you too much, then you might become more like interactive. We're becoming more involved. We're becoming closer. We're becoming greater, better friends. And then what? When the person who gives you the breadcrumbs, they're in control. They hold all the power and all of the dynamic in the relationship because they're the ones that is in control of how far the relationship and how deep the connection gets. So let's just say you go to your friend and you say, how are you? How's it going? How have you been? They say good and they walk off. Thinking, okay, that's fun. So then next time, and it could even be that you just cross paths, and this can be relationships as well, love interest. And you say, how are you doing? How's it going? Because you ran into them. And they give one or two answers, one or two response. But see, then when you are asking, how are you? How is it things going? Look at the words. How are you? How's it going? They say good, and then they walk off. What's happening here is that they're holding all the power and all the keys in the relationship. They're the dominant factor in the relationship. So when someone says things are going fine, they're going good, and if they were to engage with, I'm doing good, I'm fine, how are you? Then what's happening? We're kind of sharing more of the equal ground on the dynamic of the relationship. So then we're having a conversation. What happens if we have the conversation? Then we become more on equal playing grounds. What happens if you become more on equal playing grounds? We have a balanced relationship. Well, what happens if we have the balanced relationship? Then it may mean that instead of this other person having control in the relationship, then you might have control of the relationship. But if you have control of the relationship, then they no longer can call the cards, call the how the relationship is going to unfold. They lose that power. So then therefore are under your jurisdiction, if you will. So see how you switched and changed the dynamics and changed the hands? So instead of this other person who was the real friendly, the real upbeat, being more on the mercy of this other person is now engaging and now interacting. And then this person, if this person says, okay, I have to go, I'm running late, I have to go, but it was really nice chatting, and they dart. It's really awful the way that this whole thing is, but whoever leaves first ends up with more of the control and more of the power. So they hold how the relationship is going to unfold. So the next time when you're around that person and you're distant and you're pulled back and you're aloof from them, all of a sudden, they then therefore, how are you? How's it going? What are you doing? What are you doing? And then you say, oh, it's going good. And then you leave. You kind of mirror your friend. If you mirror your friend, that's how you get the relationship back on even grounds, even kills. Having a relationship where one person is constantly chase, and the other person is, I'm good, and then they dart and they leave, that's no fun. In order to get the relationship where it needs to be, this person should then therefore ignore them next time. Instead of being upbeat and chipper and really choosing and wanting to engage, ignore them. So then when their paths cross again, if this person does not say, how are you? How's it going? How have you been? This person, you will find, very well could all of a sudden, they are the ones. How are you? How's it going? What are you doing? What are you doing? So see, this is how you change the dynamic of the relationship. Because often, people who are nervous about giving away some of their power will be cold, distant, aloof, kind of even borderline rude. But that's how they keep all of the power. That's how they keep control. That's how they manage everything. They manage all of the events in their world and all of the events that's happening with them. And most of the time you will see that this has to do with individuals who are, whether or not we want a relationship, whether or not we want a friendship, whether or not we wish to go out with them, become part of their circle. They know it. And so they'll be kind of snooty to you so that you come in on their terms. The minute you act like, man, I'm too busy for you, I've got to go. All of a sudden, they're wondering why. Why are they being rude to me? What's going on? They're not asking to see me. They're not asking to hang out. They're not even asking how I am. This is how you change the dynamic of the relationship, is by switching it and mirroring them. But you mirror, but a little bit less. So instead of, if they say, hey, how are you? How's it going? How have you been? And then you say, good. And then leave, all of a sudden, this is how you change. And this is how you can totally change your life, your relationships, the dynamics in your world, is to kind of switching it up a little bit. So try it out. Let me know what you think. And until next time, jump over to fsma.life. And there's some great psychic courses over there, as well as a lot of free stuff. Take care.